Hi, it's the Lipstick Gal. Thank you so much for watching today. Time to talk about the best products I tried this year. This is just where I'm going to tell you, based on all the things in front of me, it's going to be a long video. So get yourself a beverage or a snack or whatever you need to do, but let's talk about this. I tried a ton of beautiful products this year, and just because it's not in this collection doesn't mean it wasn't good. It just means that these are the ones I couldn't stop reaching for. And that's kind of where I'm at with this sort of end of the year roundup. I was thinking about all the things that I tried. I literally typed up multiple pages of all the products that I tried for the first time this year. Not things that I repurchased, not things that are favorites. These are just things that entered my collection for the first time. Sometimes they're going to be brand new products and sometimes they will have been around for a while, but I finally got around to trying them. So that's what's here. Let me start with foundation. There are 4 foundations I wanted to share with you. And the weird thing is, I really got into wearing foundation this year more than I used to. And that's because I went back to work. When I went back to work in late February, early March, everybody was still wearing masks. And then because I work at a dentist's office, doesn't matter pandemic or no, I'm still wearing a mask. 3 years from now, I will still be wearing a mask at work. So I am looking for products that are, first of all, going to look really skin-like. That's my personal preference when it comes to foundation. But on top of that, wear well underneath. Okay, so the first one that I fell in love with this year that I was like, this is so good, is this. This is the new Charlotte Tilbury Beautiful Skin Foundation. All right, I normally don't go through what looks like a half a tube of product in a year. When you have as many products as I do, the fact that this one has seen this much use, I wear a shade number 1, by the way, the lightest shade. It is a little dark for me, especially this time of year. I have to mix it with something that's a little bit lighter, but I love the way this looks lightweight. This looks glowy. This looks really, and I love this squeezy tube pump packaging, my favorite. So this is the lightest shade here. What I like about this is that it ends up looking it gives some pretty nice coverage. It does lean just a hair yellow on me, but I make it work because the way that this lasts all day long, my skin doesn't look dry. And in the winter time is when my mostly combo skin can go combo dry, and in summertime it's combo oily. This doesn't cling to dry patches. This does not make my 48-year-old skin look old. This just looks beautiful. And it does, when I go to work and I'm wearing a mask, I do need to set it, but on the days that I don't have to go to work and I don't set this with powder, this is just radiant, beautiful, glowing skin. And you can build it. If you want a really, really thin layer, use a damp sponge and kind of pounce it in. If you want a little bit more coverage, a foundation brush, and it builds beautifully. This isn't one of those foundations where, okay, first application and then you can't really build it. If you try and futz with it at all, it kind of gets weird and patchy. No, this is beautiful and I really like it. And it's super pretty on the skin, especially for over 40. All right, another one that I discovered this year that is not new, and I'm wearing this mixed with something else today, is this. Oh my goodness. This Shiseido Syncro Skin Radiant Lifting Foundation. Everything my heart wants in a foundation. I like that it has a locking mechanism on it. And I like that you can actually dispense just the amount that you want. You don't have to you're not committed to a full pump. So I think this is the second to lightest shade in 110 Alabaster. I feel like this is actually closer to the tone that my skin is, but do you see the coverage? You can still see some of the freckling through the Charlotte Tilbury. She's pretty high coverage. This is a higher coverage foundation, but I don't feel like it looks cakey because the older I get, if I wear a really heavy coverage foundation, it just looks terrible. This looks skin-like. This is glowing. This is hydrated. This is beautiful. I love it. My favorite thing about this is that it looks like skin and it gives just a little bit more coverage. If I powder it correctly, this lasts all day long and is perfectly bulletproof. And this is one of the 2 foundations that I am wearing today. The other one that I mixed it with today was this. I discovered this, when was this? October. This is not a new foundation. This Futurist Hydra Rescue from Estee Lauder has been around for 3 years. I think it debuted in January of 2020. And again, that squeezy tube packaging that I like so much. Again, another one that allows you to squeeze out just a little bit. You're not fully committed. This is the lightest shade, and this is the same shade that I wear in Estee Lauder Double Wear. This is 1N0. Look at that. Perfect skin tone match. I really like this. So out of all three of these are all hydrating. This is the glowiest. The coverage for this is a lot lighter. It is extremely moisturizing. If I don't powder this, I have to be careful because it will settle into expression lines here, right around my crow's feet, corners of my nose. But if I set the areas where I know I have a lot of expression, and any product would tend to settle there, this is beautifully all day. As far as coverage goes, I feel like this is not anywhere near like Estee Lauder Double Wear. If you're familiar with that, that's more like a high coverage foundation. Even the Estee Lauder Sheer Double Wear, which is a little bit more lighter weight, this gives me just a little bit less coverage. Now, this is really kind of like, if I'm having a good skin day, I can put a light layer of this on, like a half a pump of this on, just to cover some, you know, a little bit of redness, a little bit of unevenness, and then my skin is really nice. If I want like a little bit more perfection than that, I can use this, like a full pump of it all over the face. If I use more than a pump of this, because I do have oils that crop up in my T-zone, especially like right around my nose, I find this can be a little too hydrating. But the older I get, I find that my skin really likes a hydrating formula, and this has been amazing. All right, last foundation that I fell in love with this year, and I was surprised. I was surprised. I want to try the lightest shade. I got the second lightest shade because I felt the undertone would be better, but this is still too dark for me. And it's this. This is not a new product. This is one that's been out for a while, but this is the reformulated version. This is the Merit Minimalist, and this is a stick foundation, but it's not really just a foundation. This does so much more. On the days that I wear this, I don't wear concealer. I swipe this under the eye. I never thought I would put a stick foundation under my eye. This is fantastic. You can see it's not quite the perfect shade for me, but when I start to buff and blend it out, it works all right. It is a little peachier. It is a little warmer than I need it to be, but it has this ability to perfect my skin, hold tight all day. This is one of those that you want to make sure your skin is exfoliated and well hydrated. I find that now that we're heading into colder weather, I'll get a slightly dry patch here, or dry patch in the corner of my nose where I didn't used to, like in the warmer months. And I find that if I'm not exfoliating twice a week and really well hydrated, if I had kind of like a skip skincare night, this will show on those areas. But when my skin is well exfoliated and my skin is super nice and hydrated, this glides on. And it's the finish that I like. It's not glowy. It almost looks like I'm not wearing foundation. If I had a perfect skin tone match, it's like you would never even know. Coverage on this, I would say, is medium and to buildable, where when I put it on, if I put just like 1 or 2 stripes on this side and blend it throughout the whole side of my face, it's a little bit more like light medium. But if I want a lot of coverage from this, I'll just like stripe, 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 and then I'll take the Merit brush, another thing that I fell in love with, love this thing. And then I can blend it on with this, and this, with this, oh my goodness, so, 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 so good. But I like this under my eye because it doesn't completely get rid of my dark circles. It just looks like good skin. It doesn't look like I'm wearing makeup. And if I could find my absolute perfect skin tone match with this, this might be the foundation I wear all the time because it's not too glowy. It wears well all day. It actually, you know, takes down but makes it look like realistic good skin, and it's not like absolutely perfect, because like right now you can tell I've got makeup on. If I want to have a, I don't know, is she wearing makeup? That's when I reach for this, and I, you know, just 1 or 2 swipes and then I blend it out through the whole face. This is not one of those that looks really heavy if you apply it lightly, but you can build it up if you want more coverage. I really like this. Powder is one of those things that has to be almost perfect for me to fall in love with it. I have such a high standard for powder, and it gets more and more severe, like what I'm expecting. It almost feels like an unrealistic expectation at times as I get older, because I don't want anything that's gonna make my under eyes look dry and crepey, or look like they're desert, like little cracks in the desert. I don't want anything that's gonna emphasize texture or look powdery. I want something that's going to look so beautiful, like almost like it's not there. And I need it to set everything in place because the older I get, the more my expression lines come through. And if you don't hold something in place and yeah, it looks good, but then everything creases, that's why I'm using a powder. Okay, so the only powder that I tried this year that I felt checked all of those boxes, and I know this depends on your skin tone, it's the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Brightening Powder. I have the lighter of the two new shades. This is something that came out, what was it, late summer, early fall, and I use it a lot. I like it under the eye, but being that I'm so fair, I can wear a white powder. I find that this also, if I take it on a brush like this works really well, like right across here, down my nose, corners of my nose, like all over. I feel like this works really well for me with my fair skin tone. There is a darker shade. It's not as white as this, but I really like this formula. I feel like this formula is very similar to the Airbrush Flawless Finish, like the original one that comes in the rose gold packaging, to this guy. I like this one too, but this one, even though I have shade number 1, actually oxidizes under my eyes. When I tap it over any sort of concealer, even Charlotte's concealers, guess what? My under eyes get darker. Not with this. I love this. This works well for me all over the face, but especially under the eye. And I feel like it does what everybody loves about this powder. It blurs. It kind of makes everything look soft and smooth. It doesn't add texture. It's super lightweight, very finely milled. And if you've been a fan of this, you would really like this. And I always liked this everywhere but under my eyes. And then I met this. So this next powder is not one that I use to set my face with. This is a finishing powder. And I'd seen it for years and I'd never purchased it. And I kept going, And then I purchased it because I'm like, well, maybe it'd be a really pretty soft glow highlight. And then I quit using it as a highlight and started using it as a finishing powder. And oh, I love, it's this. This is the One Powder Wonder from Beauty Pie in the shade Exquisite Light. So this is very similar to my skin tone. I take a large fluffy brush. This is the rougher number 22. Tap off the excess, and then I just kind of go all over the face. I do this more on days when I have my entire face set. I don't know if it's gonna do really well here today because I didn't have my cheeks that I'm wearing cream products. But I'll tell you, this all over the face is beautiful. Now, don't be frightened. She is a little shiny. She is a little glowy. If you use a targeted highlighting brush, you could certainly get a really pretty highlight with this. But taking it on a larger brush, tapping off the excess, and kind of swirling it all over the top of a set face, gorgeous. Just a little bit of radiance, not too much, but you can't load your brush up. I've been doing that for the last like almost 2 months now. Oh my goodness, it's so beautiful. And I've had so many people compliment me, your skin looks so pretty. I put this down, I spray it with a hydrating mist afterwards, and it's just beautiful glowy skin. There's one contour product that I fell in love with this year, and it's this. This is the So Soft Multi-Use Sculpting Face Play Stick from M Cosmetics. This is the shade Terra. It looks like this. I love this. This is really good. I have one of the bronzing sticks that I really, really like, but this literally blends with no effort. You could use a brush, you could use a sponge, you could use your fingers, draw on little swipes wherever you want a little contour. And I only picked this up recently because I feel like I've been gaining a little bit of weight. There was, of course, all of the weight I picked up during lockdown and then I never lost. And then I've been not as active as I used to be. So my weight is just hanging out. I'm not getting rid of it. And I'm like, okay, let's just accept that maybe that's where we're going to be now. And let's get something to contour. So I like to chisel out here, especially like to put a little bit here, create a little bit of shadow. This blends so beautifully. I really love this. I think this is probably one of the best formulas for a cream product. I love the blush formula, the bronzer formula, and this contour. This shade in Terra is stunning. All right, I did like a couple of other cream products that fall into the bronzer category, and this is one of them. This Charlotte Tilbury Beautiful Skin Sun-Kissed Glow Bronzer. I love. I'm wearing this today, and this is one of those that is fantastic. I really like. This is the lightest shade in one, and you'll see that it's a lot warmer, and this is a little bit cooler. Favorite way to apply this is to take a synthetic brush, just kind of tap it in here, and then I just start tapping it on my cheeks where I want it, and it blends with like no effort whatsoever. Look at that, like boop. And so as long as I'm not like going crazy with it, if I keep it targeted to just where I want it, this takes no time at all to put on. Another cream product that I really couldn't stop using once I got it was this. This is from Merit. This is their Bronze Balm. I have the second lightest shade in Kava. Now, the reason that I got this shade here, do you see how warm it is? It's really quite warm compared to the contour from M. But again, another one that takes like no effort to blend at all. And this is one that I feel like I like the look of a little bit better in the summertime. I felt like if I got the lightest shade in this, it would be too light. It would be a little too yellow leaning, a little too warm for my skin tone. So I got the second lightest shade in Kava, and I'm so glad I did, because look, it's even still lighter than the one from Charlotte Tilbury. And it's definitely lighter than the contour here from M. But this is like one of those products that I can just like scribble on and I'm done. It takes no time at all. Love it so much. All right, the two powder bronzers that I fell in love with, the first one, could not stop reaching for. And I still, every time I see it, I'm like, that's amazing. And I'll tell you, if this was not in drugstore packaging, I would swear to you that this was a high-end product. This is the Infallible 24-Hour Fresh Wear Bronzer from L'Oreal. I have the lightest shade in 200 Fair. I love this. This is definitely one of those bronzers that is on the warm-ish side, but it's so pretty. And with a brush, when I just like pick it up and start fluffing it on, there are times that I wear only this. I won't wear highlight. I won't wear blush. I'll just put this on and it's gorgeous. This is fantastic. When you see this at the drugstore, yes, it's worth it. All right, the other one, once I got this, I kind of stopped wearing everything else for a while. And I know that that's when I know a product is my favorite. I'm like, woo, it's a product from Beauty Pie. This is their Awesome Bronze. This is one of those that comes in refillable packaging because you can take the pan right out, refill it. I love that. More of that, please. But this is the lightest shade in Sunnyside. And this is one that is a little bit different than the one from L'Oreal. The one from L'Oreal is a matte bronzer. And here is the one from Beauty Pie. It has a little bit, like if you were to swirl your finger in it, it has a little sheen to it, a little bit of a satin quality. And when you take a brush and pick this up and just kind of like fluff it on the face, another one. Both of these were ones that I'm like, I don't need blush. I got everything what I need. I get a little bit of sculpting, a little bit of warmth and bronzing. It's not too much, it's just enough. Both of these I was obsessed with this year. Love these so much. I just realized I forgot to tell you about my favorite concealer. I tried quite a few concealers this year. Some of them were just some of them were amazing. And this is the one that I can't stop reaching for. You already know what I'm talking about if you've been watching any of my videos in the last several months, but once I got it, I couldn't stop reaching for it. I got it late this summer, and I mean, like, it's dirty, it's messed up. I love this. This is the Faux filter from Huda Beauty. I have the second to lightest shade in 1.1N Royal Icing, but this is my new favorite high coverage concealer. Now, I have a pretty serious under eye darkness that I am fighting. And normally I start with a color corrector. I like the one from Beauty Pie, and then I'll put concealer over the top. This is one where I don't have to do that. I can just put a very small dot of this. I'll pull the doe foot out, and pulling it out once is way too much product for the places I want to conceal, because like this right here could probably cover my whole face and give me coverage. But this is the, I mean, like, I'm still, like, I have too much for this area. It gives the most amazing coverage. It's so, like, all my sins are forgiven. Like, I could do whatever I want because no one will know. And I really like that. The other thing that's great about this, you know how picky I am with powders? I mentioned that earlier. Same thing with concealers, because I want you to stay. I want you not to crease. And here's the thing. After a certain point in life, if you have some of those lines, I have yet to try any product that is creaseless. There are some that crease more than others. There are some that are like habitual offenders, and other ones are like, you know what, you're pretty good. But this is one of those that it doesn't instantly like go into all of my lines and wrinkles. And then it doesn't dry out my under eye. I don't know how this kind of semi-matte, it's not Shape Tape matte, but this is a lot more matte than a lot of the rest of my concealers. I like something that looks a little bit dewier. This is beautiful. Doesn't dry my under eye out, doesn't emphasize the texture, doesn't settle into my creases instantaneously. Now, if I don't set this, yeah, I'm gonna get some creasing down there, but I'm almost 50. You know, I need to know, like, what's a realistic expectation for a concealer under my eyes? I want it to layer, I want it to get rid of darkness, I want it not to make me look dry and terrible, and then I want to set it and I want you to be there with no touch-up necessary for the rest of the day. You know, like maybe I come home from work and let's go and have dinner with friends. Okay, maybe I'm willing to touch my face up after I've had my makeup on for what? 11 hours, but that's pretty good. She hangs tight all day. She's amazing. I'm obsessed and I can't stop. The blush I'm wearing today was one that I tried this spring and I fell in love with. And it's the Soft Pinch Liquid Blush from Rare Beauty. This is the shade, I think this is Encourage, and I'm running out of places to swatch, but like that's even too much for my face. Like look, here's the metal palette I was using today, and I have that dot here, single dot, and all of this is where I was using a fluffy brush, and I was picking up a small amount and like bouncing it on another part and then applying because it's too much. The pigment on these is incredible. It's so much, like you don't need anywhere near this much. But my favorite thing about this is how easily it blends. I mean, like it blends with no effort. You could use fingers. You could use a duo fiber brush. You could use a sponge. You could, I don't know, sometimes I feel like I could, you know, pick up like my cat and blend it with that. Like it blends with no effort whatsoever. I love this and it's really pretty and buildable. This is one of those that stays all day. And I sometimes have the problem with certain cream products. Yes, they look great, but 4 hours later, where did they go? This is one I can put it on and at the end of the day, I can still see my blush. This is also one that I have used like on my lips. I won't do it, but because I like what I'm wearing right now, but I will take a little bit of this and throw it on. It doesn't last as well as lip product because it's not meant to be, but it's so pretty. I love it. I really wanted to get the holiday set that had a full size and 2 minis, but the full size was this shade. This was a new shade for 2022 and it's a beautiful shade and I like this mauve-y color and Encourage a lot. So I skipped the holiday set, but if Rare ever comes out with a set of minis, I'm on it. I'm sure you knew these were coming up. These are the Heaven's Glow blushes from M Cosmetics, but these are 2 new shades that they launched in, I think, February this year. And this is the Masterpiece Collection. This right here is the lighter of the 2. This one's in Baroque, and this one here is in Rococo. These are so stunning. I know this one looks really light, but when I have it on, it's just enough and not too much. I have to be careful with Rococo, but I like that there is a lighter and a deeper option. If your skin is richer skin tone than mine, you'd probably look gorgeous in Rococo. Baroque is kind of like my fave, the one that I've used the most. Think about, yep, this one's flatter. But I love this formula. It has a subtle glow to it. It wears well all day long. It doesn't add any added texture to my face because I do have, you know, crow's feet. I do have fine lines on my face. I'm nearing 50. That's okay. I don't mind. I just don't want something to add on more years than I came by naturally. These are beautiful. They look fantastic. And some days I'll do what I do with like this. I'll wear just this. No bronzer, no highlight, just blush. Fantastic. The last blush I want to share with you is one that's kind of new to my collection. And I was like, I'm not going to buy it. No, I don't think I need it. She's so expensive. It's all about the packaging. And then I kind of broke down and I bought it. And I can't stop using it. It's so good. It's this. It's one of those little Gucci blushes. This is the Luminous Matte Cheek Powder. I have the shade Rosy Beige. This is shade number 5. Oh my goodness. So pretty. So beautiful. And it is one of those products that when you put it on, it looks mostly matte. And it doesn't look like it's, the satin part of this is not that it glows. It just looks like skin. And there's a difference to me between something that is luminous and something that is matte. Matte sometimes can look flat or powdery. Luminous has a lot of glow to it. These guys here are very much a luminous blush. And this is walking that line between not being flat and matte and not being too luminous. It's right in the middle when you put it on. It's beautiful, and it has that look that healthy skin has, where it's not like a flat sheet of paper. There's dimension to it. There's color to it. It's so pretty. It's so pretty. And bonus points also for like the totally beautiful packaging. At the beginning of the year, I picked up a new Elevated Glow from Lisa Eldridge. This is the shade Pink Moon. This is the lightest of all of these liquid highlights. I have 3 of these. I love it. I am wearing it today. It is beautiful. Look at this. I mean, it is the most beautiful, glorious, highlighted, dewy skin. There is a sheen, there is a glow, but it's not super frosty. It's not super highlighty. It just looks like beautiful skin. A lot of people ask me, how does it compare to the Auric Glow Lust? How does it compare to the Hollywood Flawless Filter from Charlotte Tilbury? I feel like those are more obvious. Those are more like when they sit on your skin and you're, you know, putting them on as highlight, because that's how I like to use this. It looks like bing, and this just looks like beautiful, gorgeous skin. Love this. I like using it as primer. And then putting foundation over it and then topping any, you know, liquid or cream products with this for highlight. But it just gives the skin such a pretty, glowy, without looking shiny look. It looks like gorgeous, healthy skin. Pink Moon was new for this year, but I love this formula so much, I have 3. All right, the last one is so new. I don't know that it's fair to put it in here, but I'm obsessed with the new Rare Highlight. This is their, what? Positive, light, soft touch, silky, I don't know what it's called. This is the shade Mesmerize. This is the one that is kind of like a rose gold. I know, look at that. And when it is blended out, it is so stunning. So stunning. I am wearing a little bit of this today. That's where you get this like really intense bling, because the Lisa Eldridge doesn't do that. I have the Lisa Eldridge down first and a little touch of this right here. It is so beautiful. I want the one that's the pearl shade, but I didn't want to start there because I remember starting at the lightest shade when Becca had that, I think it was called Pearl. I got it and it was a little too icy. I remember trying the Anastasia Beverly Hills Iced Out highlighter, also little too icy. Certain kind of pearl leaning highlights look good on me and other ones just, they don't sit well. But this is gorgeous. Now I want the other one. And right now, as of right now, they're all sold out, but that's okay. This has been something that I'm so glad I picked up like the day that it launched. I like this one that's kind of a little bit pinky. This is stunning. This has been something I haven't been able to stop reaching for. I was gonna do one really long video. I think I'm gonna split it up. Let's call it good for here. And I will do eyes and lips. And there's a whole bin of them. There's a whole bin. I will do that on another video. But I would love to know, what are the products that you fell in love with this year? They don't have to be brand new products, just products you tried for the first time. Because, you know, she's not new, but I fell in love with her this fall. I would love to know what discoveries for you have changed the way you wear makeup and are now your new favorites, and you're so obsessed you cannot stop reaching for them. Keep an eye out for part 2, which will be eyes and lips very soon. Thank you so much for watching. Have a remarkable day, and I'll see you again soon.